Hello, it's me again, TFR Wilderness, bringing to you a KTRT review, and it's the second of this month's review, where I bought two figures from the Hello Carbot toy line from some of their later series. The last one I did was King Dizer. Obviously, he's right next to me because, like I said, I'm doing these reviews back to back. So I've just done the review of this guy, and now we're doing this next one. Now, like I said, Hello Carbot's been going since 2014. Every year they bought out a new season. In 2018, they bought out season 6. And they had a number of characters that they introduced for season 6, new characters. Most notably INT and Inuk, which are these rather large figures that have these compartments which open up and all these little microbots come out and do sort of rescue and repair jobs. I want to get INT or INT. I want to get him because his truck mode is really cool and it's big, but he's quite expensive. So if I do get him, I might not be buying 2 KTRTs on that particular month because he's quite pricey. I'm not sure I'm going to go for Inuk, but they also had Converster, who's he's one of these like one-step quick change figures, but his alt mode is to die for. He's got like he looks like a drop top Lamborghini. His alt mode is amazing, and he's a brilliant character in the show. He's got like an Italian accent, and the rear spoiler of the car comes off and goes around like a camera drone, taking loads of photographs. And he's a pretty boy. He likes posing for the photograph and to have photographs taken. And he's a really cool character. So I'd like to get his toy, even though again it's quite pricey, and because it's it's like a one step or a quick change figure with limited articulation. I don't think he's got any articulation on the legs. Again, it's difficult to justify getting that because of what it is. And then you got Star Pinner or Star Spinner, a really unusual looking jet with this gimmick where he has this sort of propeller on his chest that sort of spins round and does attacks, and no, not going for him. But anyway, there's another character that came out, or characters, because this guy's really unusual, and I kind of overlooked this guy before. But then I watched the episodes and then I thought, you know what, this guy has a really unusual gimmick, which is quite rare, even for Transformers. And what it is we know combiners. Combiners, you get like a number of bots or a number of vehicles that form together to form a gestalt, right? That's how combiners work. But then we have, I suppose, for want of a better term, reverse combiners. Combiners that work the other way, i.e. multiple robots that merge together to form a single alt mode. Now, this is very rare. It's only happened a handful of times in the entirety of the Transformers series. I mean, I think the first figure to do it was Reflector from G1. You know, the 3 identical bots that form together to form the camera mode. And then you had the G1 Micromasters that had those combiners that were formed 2 halves of a single vehicle. They split apart and had individual robot modes. Then we had for Revenge of the Fallen, we had Skids and Mudflap, who had at the beginning of the movie, they had that ice cream van where this really shunky old, sort of like 1960s ice cream van, and then they split apart and formed 2 little robots, which was quite funny actually. And then for the last night, we had Dragonstorm, who had a number of these Cybertronian knights who formed together to form a massive great dragon. Of course, I've got Dragonstorm down here. He's in there. A brilliant figure. 2 Voyager figures that form together to form a large dragon. I mean, what's not to like? But this whole concept of reverse combining, where you have 2 robots or multiple robots that form together to form one alt mode. Like I said, it's very rare, and there's a character in the Hello Carbot line which does exactly that. Now, he's another one of these characters that has a little bit of ambiguity as regards to his name. Now, if you go on to eBay and search for him, he's called Lucky Punch. But when you look on the box and translate this name directly, it's actually Rocky Punch. So I'm going to call him Lucky Punch because I think Lucky Punch works much better. But anyway, so here's the box. Obviously I used it for the thumbnail on this video because I was lazy and couldn't be bothered to do, photograph the individual modes. And this guy especially, he's got effectively 4 modes. He's got like the vehicle mode, he's got the combined vehicle mode. He's got 2 individual robot modes. He splits in half for 2 individual robot modes, and then he combines together to form 1 large robot mode. So he's quite complex, and that's why I didn't want to do the full thumbnail with him and just cheat and just do the box front. So yeah, here he is in his alt mode, and he's quite a big blue truck, and he's got some serious heft to this guy, and he's made out of some really chunky solid plastic, and the build quality on this thing is amazing. Alt mode wise, he's kind of like Energon Ironhide, and similar sort of size. I think he's a bit bigger than Energon Ironhide, but he's like a blue sort of crew cab truck. It's got a big supercharged engine sticking out the bonnet. It's got flames on the bonnet. It's got bull bars. It's got silver bumper, silver lights. It's got big massive alloy wheels with low profile tyres. It's got wheel arch, sort of skirts. It's got mirrors. It's got lamps on the top. And then he's got these bottles on the back, which could be bottles of nitrous, because it's a supercharged pickup truck. It might be bottles of nitrous. He's got some bull bars on the back, some painted rear lights. It's a pretty cool looking truck. Not much more you can say about it. It's got large wheels. It rolls extremely well, and these yellow bits actually are detachable. And they're detachable because they become the weapons for the robots. So we'll put them to one side. Now, as I said, awesome looking truck. Really, really heavy, chunky, very well made. And to transform him into his robot modes, you basically go like that. You pull it in half, and then you get the 2 robots. So let's start with Lucky, aka Rocky. So you choose the name you want to call this guy. I call him Lucky because I think Lucky suits this guy. So you can see his head already. So you've got these pieces which you can fold out. You then pull the legs down, split them, and then you twist those pieces round to form the feet, and then fold them up, and then fold the arms out. Quite simple transformation, and there we have Rocky, or Lucky, or Lucky. Well, I'm going to call him Lucky. Now, as you can see, the aesthetic the proportions, should I say, on these guys are quite unusual. They've got very short, stubby legs. Now, as I understand the show, they're supposed to be robotic trolls. I could be wrong. These guys are supposed to be robotic trolls, and their individual modes reflect that. It's quite wide at the shoulders. It's got a head which can move. That articulation there. It's also got a butterfly joint that goes in and out. It's got elbow, and it's got an arm that goes up like that. So it's got quite a few joints there. Legs, hips, go back, go forwards. Got a thigh swivel. It's got a knee that goes back quite far, but because his legs are so chunky, it kind of restricts his emotion a little bit. So Lucky here, or Rocky, he's sort of like the sensible one out of the 2. He's the one that talks normally, and seems to be quite clever and thoughtful. But no, they're both bruisers, and they've got some interesting attacks. Anyway, quick look at one of the weapons. So you've got a peg that folds out, and then you twizzle this bit around, and then you stick it in his hand, like so. Now in the show, these weapons they fire at like a blast of air, like a hurricane blast of air, and it just blows things away. And it's a pretty cool weapon. So it's like a tornado gun, I suppose you could call it. So that's Lucky, or Rocky. And now we get on to Punch, and there's no ambiguity on this guy's name. So right, let's transform him. So fold these little panels out. You then bring down the legs, split them, fold them round, fold these panels back round, and then you've got to flip the feet out like so. There we go. And then you get the arms. You got to bring these shoulders up. Then you take these bonnet pieces and fold them down. And then you pull this piece forward, flip up his head, and put that back. And there we have Punch. Now Punch is a bit of a bruiser. He talks with a very gruff voice, and he's quite loud and rambunctious. But he's pretty cool. You know, he's the more physical of the two guys. But he's a pretty interesting character. Articulation on this guy, he's got a head rotation. Again, similar articulation, that goes around there. He's got elbow joint there. Hips go forwards, back and out. Bicep swivel, and you've got a little bit of a toe joint. And now the knee goes back to there, but if you flip that panel out, it'll go even further. And again, you can give this guy a tornado gun, or whatever you call it. Flip it out, spin it round, and he can hold a gun too. So that is Punch, and like I said, Punch is probably the more interesting of the two characters. He's quite loud, quite rowdy, but you know he's quite funny as well. So, like I said, I'm putting a link down below to a couple of episodes which feature these guys. Their debut episode, which was Season 6, Episode 11. And then a couple of episodes later, they appeared again in an episode where they're going up against some kid who's going around, he's some sort of alien disguised as a kid, and he's going around and he's assaulting people, you know, bopping them with his hammer and causing great lumps to come out of their chins. And it's a really funny episode, actually, so you've got to watch that one. So now these guys, as you can see, they're quite small and stumpy, but like I said, I think they're supposed to be robotic trolls, and that's the reason why they are like they are. Size comparison, obviously they're quite a bit smaller than the leader class, quite bulky, you know, they're very wide shoulders, very chunky sort of shins and feet. Unusual proportions, but they're decently articulated for what they are. Now these guys do have one extra trick. I mean, they form a single alt mode, two individual bot modes, but they can combine together to form a single robot. Now you basically have to go back to vehicle mode to do that. So take the gun out, like so. Now what you can do is you can combine the guns as well. So you fold one of them up, then you get the other one, and there's like a rectangular peg and port on the end of that, and then you stick them together and you basically make the super tornado gun. And this also acts like a baton, which the giant robot, Lucky Punch, because obviously it's a combination of two names, he uses it like, he can use it like a baton as well. So got that. So yeah, you fold these guys up. Right, that's him back into his mode, and then you fold them together, pick them together, fold them down, put that down, and then put the two halves of the vehicle together. Right, so we're back to the truck mode. Now, to get the combined robot mode, put it up like this. Obviously, fold these little panels out on the side. Bring out the legs for Rocky or Lucky. Split them. Turn the feet round. Right. Now, you split the top piece. Now you fold this piece down, and then you bring these shoulder pieces out, like so. Fold those waist pieces in. Fold that back up, and then you bring out the arms, punch his arms as normal. And then you can also flip these bits round like that. And there is Lucky Punch's combined mode, and it just becomes a fat guy. Again, this guy's character is quite strange. He's almost mystical. He's got some weird magical powers, and his head sculpt. It's this shield thing, and you've got the little dot in the middle, which sort of flashes to simulate, to when he talks. Again, he's kind of a combination of the personalities of the two robots that make him up. He is, quite a bruiser, but again, you put these two guns together, and he can hold them, and yeah, he can use it as a gun, or as a whacking stick, as a baton. So, yeah, pretty cool. He does have an extra feature in his belly. Is a mouth. It opens up, and he can shoot fireballs out of this, out of his belly. He can shoot fireballs. So yeah, he's got he's got a big mouth, and I suppose these are supposed to be eyes. So yeah, he's got a face in his belly. So yeah, he's quite unusual, but again, it's got some fair weight to him, and you look on the back, and you can see how thick and chunky the plastic is that makes this guy up. I mean, look at the thickness of that, and this. Look how thick that is. He's really solidly built, and most Korean toys are like this. They're built to last. They're built to be chucked about by younger kids, and definitely the case with this guy. He's pretty cool. Has that unusual gimmick where he two robots form one alt mode, and that's part of the reason why I went for him. Well, it's the main reason really. Otherwise, I wouldn't have bothered to get this guy. But if you watch the episodes, there's a couple of episodes that I've suggested and put in the links down below. You'll see he's quite an interesting character in his own right. He doesn't combine in the first episode, but he does in the second episode. But the second episode is quite funny because they go up against this alien child who turns into this human child who's going around, beating people with feats of strength and then bopping them on the chin and giving them big lumps. And it's quite funny actually. So when he comes up against this guy, he's really met his match. Yeah, so that is Hello Carbot's Lucky Punch or Rocky Punch, depending on where you get your translation from. Again, before we go, quick size comparison. As you can see, this guy's quite large. He's very sort of chunky and bulky. He's a bruiser of a bot. He's quite big. Obviously articulation before I go. Same articulation as the other guys. You've got that. Now the shoulder does go up and down, and you can move this piece as well. The head does not move. It's got the elbow which folds in and out. No waist joint, 5 swivels, hips, basically the same as Lucky, because it's Lucky's legs basically. So yeah, and that's this guy. He's all right, like I said. He's solidly built, bright and colourful, interesting transformation gimmick. He's a pretty neat figure. You can get him off eBay for about 55 quid. He's pretty cool, and I decided to go for him this month as part of my Korean bots this time round. And I got 2 figures from the Hello Carbot's toy line this month. So I got King Dizer and Lucky Punch. So yeah, that's the second of this month's KTRT reviews. I hope you found them interesting. Again, I did the lazy ass, very short and sweet thumbnail on this video. Let me know if you prefer that or the original ones. I'd like to know. I'd like some feedback in the comments if you would, if you've got this far in the video. But apart from that, I've been Too Far Wilderness. I'll catch you all next time. Ta-da!